The case of the royal seal. I agree, Your Majesty. The matter is most serious, Siddhanta said, running his wrinkled fingers through his long silvery beard. My dear minister, not merely serious, but positively dangerous. How can such a thing happen in any well governed kingdom? You must find the culprit and he shall be severely punished, said King Parakrama, his voice slightly raised. The king rarely raised his voice, and Siddhanta knew that the king was highly upset over what had happened. Noble king, I shall do my best to find the culprit. Siddhanta, doing your best will not do. You must solve this case. I have never known you failing, and I hope you will not fail. Gracious king, you are the most generous in praising me. I am lucky I have never failed you so far, but one can never tell. Failure can come to one at any time. One must be ready to take success and failure in one stride. Of course, I shall strive my utmost. Siddhanta, I am deeply agitated in mind and therefore in body too. Imagine the royal seal being duplicated. Never heard of such a thing. The seal is being used every day. How could one ever steal it and prepare a fake one? Luckily, we found out the forgery. Now we must find out the fellow who made the counterfeit seal and who possesses it. Siddhanta walked along the wide carpeted corridor of the magnificent Mallipuram palace. It was huge, sprawling, and architecturally beautiful. The corridors were well decorated with artistic objects brought from many lands near and far. Chandeliers, candle stands specially made in Mallipuram by a family of brilliant artisans, etc. But the wise minister's mind was not in them. What King Parakrama had told him upset him much. The able king of Malipuram had a royal seal made of high quality gold, a real work of art. It had been carved by a famous goldsmith who had died 2 decades ago. The royal seal was kept in a sandalwood casket equally artistic. The king or the minister for the royal seal were the only persons privileged to make use of it. Orders, fiats, judgments, decrees had to bear the royal seal, and one of the two took it out of the casket and affixed it on the document. The seal was normally kept in a separate room called the seal chamber, and now someone had duplicated the royal seal, something that was believed to be impossible. It was never taken out of the seal chamber except by the king himself. Even the concerned minister had no power to remove it out of the chamber. How then was the seal duplicated? The fake orders issued. Who could have done it and how? Siddhanta was puzzled. Siddhanta reached his private chamber in the palace and paced the decorated floor. He had solved many problems for his king, but this was indeed a difficult one. Siddhanta asked the king to permit him to walk all over the palace at will at any hour of the day or night. There were some parts of the palace, mainly the ladies' quarters, where men were not allowed without the king or queen's permission. Hence, Siddhanta had to ask the king even though he was a minister. Siddhanta was at once granted permission, and he was now on that mission of a leisurely tour of the palace. He walked from room to room, chamber to chamber, and let his eyes take in every tiny detail. He saw palace servants and officials, men and women, go about their assigned duties, and some looked askance at the wise old minister. They rarely saw him just wandering seemingly aimlessly, and Siddhanta pretended to ignore them. By now it was dark. The sun having disappeared behind the high mountains, the palace servant in charge of lights, Dhanava, was seen going around the palace. The palace was lighted with candles of various colors kept inside glass containers of many shapes, designs, and colors. They gave out a fine, colorful illumination which added luster to the grand palace. Siddhanta stood behind a huge pillar and watched Dhanava at work. He could take the glass container out, dust it, remove the burnt out candle, and replace it with a new one. Then he would light it and put it back inside the container. When he lit one large red candle, the flame seemed too thick and the melted candle dripped onto the floor. Dhanava seemed to have scalded his fingers too, and Siddhanta saw him sucking the hurt finger with haste. Siddhanta smiled and his fingers pulled at his flowing beard with feverish haste. Quickly he walked out, leaving Dhanava to carry on with his work. He sat in his house under the mango tree and stared at the shining moon high in the sky. He began to laugh softly to himself. He went inside and got ready for his night prayers. Dhanava knelt before King Parakrama, his hands shivering. Siddhanta sat on a low cushioned chair near the king, his eyes never leaving the man in charge of the palace lights. King Parakrama's deep eyes burned with red hot rage. Siddhanta, this man shall be banished. He has committed the most heinous crime, duplicating our royal seal. Because he has confessed and because he has been with us for many years, I have spared his life and have given him the lesser punishment of banishment. Siddhanta, I am amazed at your wisdom. Now tell us how you found out the culprit. King Parakrama was eager. Beloved king, it was most intriguing at first. I did not know what to do. But I knew that the crime must have been committed by some insider, somebody who had access to the seal chamber. Not many go inside that room, so I wanted to find out who went into that room. To mislead people, I looked into every room, every part of our palace. I did not want anyone to suspect me. That's why I went into all the areas, even the women's quarters. Then I saw Dhanava at work. While lighting one candle, I saw the melted candle dripping in drops. Suddenly, I got the answer to the puzzle. Only a person going into the seal chamber can take out the seal. The casket has no lock. The man who took it out knew that. He could take it out, get its imprint in wax swiftly, and the rest was easy. Any good engraver will make a duplicate using the wax mold. Who could be the man who had easy access and could light candles inside that room without arousing even a trace of suspicion? Who? Dhanava the palace lights man. That's how it was, noble king. The dripping of the candle led me to the correct solution. Excellent! My dear friend, you are truly wise. Congratulations! King Parakrama rose and embraced his wise old minister warmly. Dhanava was removed from the king's presence and Parakrama took his faithful minister to his inner apartment for meeting the queen and telling her about the latest success of Siddhanta. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Do provide your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for listening.